Okay, so if you are in the boat of people who are like, well, that's too many steps to make it out of clay, you can also find these 3D objects on the internet. And they're pretty complex. So I like to find some objects that are pretty simple and easy to recreate. And most of them are free. So I just typed in the search STL. STL is the type of file. And then I just say free because I don't want to have to pay for it. So once I select the object I want, um, I can download the file as an STL. In this case, it takes me a really long time on my computer. So I already pre downloaded a different file as an STL, and it was this little bear. And I uploaded it into Slicer, which is part of Fusion 360, which is part of Autodesk, which they're not running anymore the way that they used to. So you can still use this service, but it has a few bugs that didn't get updated. But what's cool about this is I can manipulate this box up in the right hand corner and it will show me kind of all the different angles of the object. Um, so it's kind of this viewpoint where I can see it from every edge. And then for my construction technique, I will just select stacked slices. And what it has done for me is automatically divide the bear into a bunch of different little slices, the same way we had before. So now I can see this bear in all of these little individual slices. Um, Sometimes I can get the plan and it will show me the layout and it will give me all of those nice visuals of what the slices look like. Um, Sometimes that is not the case because this is an old model. And I'm more than happy to walk through this with you all if you don't feel like using the clay method, which I totally understand. So we can find you a pre-made object and we can divide it into all of its individual slices. So I'm just going to select assembly steps. And what it's done is converted it into basically like a cardboard object. And if I move these steps around, it's going to basically remove the little slices of cardboard and show me how this bear looks slice by slice. And if I rotate it, I can kind of see what that side profile looks like. So this is what you're um, tracing essentially. And if I go all the way to the beginning, that's my first little part that I'm trying to reconstruct. That's what my second one looks like. It's this part of the ear, part of the body, part of the ear, part of the body, part of the ear, part of the body, part of the head and the ear, part of the body, part of the head and the ear, part of the body. And it will just keep showing me these little stacks one by one. And when I was creating my bear, my little cardboard bear version of this, I literally just freehand drew each of those shapes, um, which took me a really long time because you're starting off with, these very flat slices. There are 42 different slices. So the whole thing took me about 3 hours because I had to freehand copy what I was looking at. Right. If I was looking at this shape right here, this kind of peanut shape with a little bit of a snout and some stump for the leg, I had to freehand draw that. And then I also had to cut it out with my X-Acto blade. does take a very long time. But yeah, you can definitely use a laser cutter to print these. But I find that it's hard to find those exact files these days since this isn't really a method that's used as much anymore. But you can use this kind of as your springboard to jump off of. And if you want to work with Taj on the CNC router, or that's right, laser cutter, then you can find a file that works for that and use that as well. Um, Otherwise, this is just a really good way of thinking about it and looking at it and using that as kind of your jumping off